This is a true horror story. The names of the people who experienced this incident have been changed. My high school was a strict, religious, private school, hidden deep in the hills outside a small town. People said the place itself felt strange, silent hallways, old wooden crosses on every wall, and teachers who believed every shadow had a meaning. Every senior year, the entire class was taken to a remote mountain retreat, far away from the city, where there was no signal, no internet, and no easy way back. The purpose was simple: grow closer to God, confess your sins, and prepare for graduation. That year, I was 17, and like most of my classmates, I thought the whole retreat was boring. Until the third night. The resort sat in the middle of dense forest. At night, the wind sounded like whispers moving through the trees. The building itself was older than anyone could explain. Some students said it used to be a monastery. Others said people had died there many years ago. I laughed at those stories. I stopped laughing after what happened to Emily. Emily was one of the quiet girls in our class. She barely spoke, always sat near the back, always looked nervous, like she was hiding something. She had pale skin, dark eyes, and this strange habit of staring too long at empty corners of rooms. That evening, everyone gathered in the main prayer hall for worship. Candles burned softly. The priest stood at the front, reading prayers. Rain tapped against the windows. Everyone was silent. Then Emily started shaking. At first I thought she was crying. She was sitting 3 rows ahead of me, her shoulders trembling slightly. Then her body jerked violently. Her chair crashed backward. She hit the floor hard. Everyone screamed. Emily twisted on the ground like something invisible was pulling her bones apart. Her fingers bent unnaturally. Her mouth opened wide, too wide, and a sound came out that I still hear in my nightmares. It was not her voice. It was deep, old, angry, like a grown man screaming from inside her body. Some girls started crying. One student ran out of the hall. The priest dropped his Bible. Emily suddenly sat upright. Her eyes rolled completely white. Then she stood, slowly, too slowly, like a puppet learning how to move. She turned her head toward the priest and smiled, but it wasn't her smile. Then she began speaking. Not English, not Arabic, not anything I had ever heard. Fast, violent words poured from her mouth like she had been waiting years to say them. The priest whispered, "Don't answer her." One teacher tried to hold her shoulders. Emily grabbed his arm and dug her nails so deep into his skin that blood ran down to his wrist. He screamed and fell back. Then Emily looked at all of us and laughed. That laugh, it sounded like 2 voices laughing at once. She ran across the hall barefoot, knocking over candles, throwing chairs, screaming in tongues. Then, suddenly, she stopped. She looked directly at me and whispered my name. I had never spoken to her. My blood turned cold. Then blood started dripping from her eyes. At first just a little, then more. Thin red streams running down her pale cheeks, while she smiled at me like she knew something terrible. People were praying. Some were crying. Someone called an ambulance, but there was no signal in the mountains. The priest ordered everyone out, everyone except 4 teachers and me, because Emily kept saying my name over and over. Daniel, Daniel. I wish I had run. They took her upstairs to the oldest room in the retreat house, a locked prayer room. No students were allowed to enter. Heavy wooden door, single bed, crosses on every wall, no mirrors. People said strange things happened there before. That night, they locked her inside. And that's when it got worse. For 3 days, Emily stayed in that room. She refused food, refused water. She never slept. Teachers said she sat in the corner, facing the wall for hours, whispering to someone who wasn't there. Sometimes they heard another voice answering her, but when they opened the door, she was always alone. On the second night, I awoke up to scratching outside my room, slow, careful, like fingernails dragging across wood. I opened the door. No one. Just a long scratch mark across the hallway walls and wet footprints leading upstairs to Emily's room. The priest told everyone to stay away, but I couldn't, because every night I heard her whispering my name through the walls. On the 4th night, I went upstairs alone. The hallway was freezing cold. The lights flickered. As I got closer, I could hear her voice, soft, crying, "Help me!" I stood outside the locked door. "Emily?" Silence. Then a deep voice answered from inside. "She is not here." I froze. The doorknob slowly turned by itself. Click. The door opened. Emily was sitting on the bed. Her hair covered her face. The room smelled like rotten flowers. There were scratch marks all over the walls. Crosses turned upside down. Blood on the floor. She lifted her head. Her eyes were completely black. No white, no pupils, just darkness, and blood still leaking from the corners. She smiled. "You should not have come." Then she stood on the bed and crawled across the ceiling. I ran. I don't remember reaching my room. I only remember the screaming. Everyone woke up. Teachers rushed upstairs. The priest came carrying holy water and a cross. Emily was standing at the end of the hallway, barefoot, covered in blood, smiling at everyone. Then she said something I will never forget. "He has been here long before God." The priest began praying. She screamed so loudly the hallway lights exploded. Glass shattered. Students cried. Doors slammed shut on their own. And then Emily collapsed. Silence. Complete silence. The next morning she was gone. No ambulance. No police report. Nothing. The school told everyone she had been taken home for medical reasons. We were told never to speak about it again. Emily never returned to school. No one ever saw her again. Years later I looked her up. No records, no social media, nothing, like she never existed. But sometimes, usually around 3 a.m., I wake up to scratching at my bedroom door, slow, careful, like fingernails on wood. And sometimes, just before I fall asleep again, I hear her voice, soft, whispering from the dark, "Daniel."